feel like this is such a weird angle, but I decided to order some 7-Eleven because I've never had it, and just, you know, by myself, figured I'd do a little kind of video just thinking about some, or talking about some thoughts that I've had. But first, I'll introduce what I'm gonna be eating. It's this strawberry cheesecake because I wanted a little snack. Never tried it before. These are supposed to be barbecue wings, if I'm not mistaken. If I can open the bag. I was wondering, because I was like, I hope they didn't throw them in the bag, but it's in a little tray. I need to get some ranch to go with that. All right, got some ranch, and then I got a pizza. I think it was the spicy, I keep saying I think like I didn't order it, but it's the spicy meat or whatever, I think it said. Yeah, and for $9, you get a hefty amount of pizza. Because I'm thinking, I was going to get 2 pizzas, and I was like, you know, but I might just save some for work tomorrow. Kind of glad I didn't end up getting 2. But it also got fruit punch. So anyway, my biggest thing that I wanted to kind of go over today, well, I don't know, it's been a long time since I've actually decided to just do a sit down talk video, so it's kind of working my way up to get to the main discussion. But anyway, let me try a wing without ranch first. It makes me think of like frozen wings that you could get at a store. But $5 for 5 wings, not bad. I'll go ahead and try the pizza while I'm here. Nice looking slice. Came out what you expect. Anyway, it's just the last, it is kind of spicy, got a little kick to it. The last couple months have been interesting, to say the least. I'm not going to go into full detail, but there's been a lot of changes going on. And it's been making me think about how I process things. The main topic that I'm thinking about right now is just, I feel like God has a good sense of humor. And when I say that, it's because, like, I can recount so many times in my life where I said something just like out loud, or I've been thinking something heavily, And God will immediately change it at what to me is the most inconvenient time. I think about this with the relationships the most, because my last one that I was in is just like different points where I'm just like looking back on this like, dang, you know, the signs was always there, but like I was listening to Differences by Genuine. You know, my whole life has changed. I was listening to that song, and I remember that I told her that that song made me think about her, because my life did change when she came in. It was going pretty good. And then I'm just thinking, like, it just went downhill from there. Like, I told her I loved her. She wanted to break up with me. We did end up getting back together, but it's just like thinking about it, it's like, wow. You know, I told her that she made my life complete, destroyed it. Destroyed it is taking it a little extreme, but it's just like, you know, a lot of times I think highly of people and they just kind of show me why I shouldn't. At least not in the sense that they're above me. That's something that I keep struggling with when it comes to dealing with people, is I'll disrespect myself to keep either dealing with them or putting them, respecting them and whatnot. And it's just a cycle that I've been kind of going through for a while. Like, this is the year that, just based on the events that happen, it's like, yeah, I can't keep doing that. And I won't keep doing that. But I'm just thinking, like, almost every person that I've allowed into my close sphere has kind of disappointed me right after I started thinking pretty highly of them. One girl I was dealing with, when it seemed like everybody was against me. It's two different women, two times that I felt like everything was just going against me. It was like they seemed to be the only person on my side. And then they were even worse than the people that I thought weren't going against me. And that's right after, like, thinking, you know, you're the one good thing that I got going on in my life right now, and everything is falling apart. Boom. They ain't that good no more. And I feel like I saw a post on Twitter too, and it was like pretty much like how if you ask God, like, remove people that aren't supposed to be in my life, he will do it the next day. There was a girl that I used to like, and I finally worked up the courage to have a conversation with her about how, you know, I wanted us to kind of build a relationship. And, you know, we agreed, and then, you know, it was just one day I'm just thinking, like, you know, I wonder if this is really going to work out. Immediately she started distancing herself from me. And I found out that later on she was dealing with somebody else. And I was like, dang, that's crazy. And it's like, subsequently, every person that I start thinking a little bit more highly of, they either just disappear, or I just realize, you know, they aren't what I thought they were. All right. A handful of people just recently have just disappeared. You know, we're getting along and everything. I'm thinking things are pretty good. I'm not even expecting anything. I'm just, you know, we get along, we're good friends. Boom, disappear, never see him again. I'm like, well, what did I do? What happened? I was like, oh, you know, I'm going to stay where I'm at for 6 months. And, you know, I'm going to thug out things. Things ain't really going that good right now. I'm going to thug it out. And, you know, I'm going about my business. But really, I'm thinking, like, man, this most likely isn't going to work. But if I keep thugging it out, you know, if we just make it past this month, things will get better somehow. God said 6 months. I give you 2 weeks. Why? Like, And I say he has a sense of humor also because it's like, yeah, the things happen at inconvenient times to me, but God knows me. Like, unless I have that drastic change, I'm not going to do what I need to do to get where I need to be at. Because I have a bad habit of holding on to people that are weighing me down. And something that I've done consistently. Like, I've pretty much gained anxiety and depression from dealing with people from too long. And the amount of stress that I've been dealing with these past couple months, just trying to maintain any form of normalcy in my life. Yeah. Honestly, it just kind of made me numb. Like, there was one period where literally the whole week I called my mama every night. Mama, guess what? Something else bad happened. Well, I hope nothing else happened. You know, I hope nothing else happens. You know, this time maybe get time to breathe. Next night, mama, guess what? Something else happened. Well, can't be 3 days in a row, right? Mama, it got worse. And I'm just like, I know the part that I play in these type of scenarios that get me where I am, but it's just I have a hard time letting things go until it gets worse. And that's mostly because of the fact that I like to help people. Or a lot of times it's been more I feel like I need to help people. Like, I think my dad, he's more religious than me, but he feels like everybody has a purpose. And he feels like mine is to help people. But he also says, like, hey, you can't help anybody when you can't help yourself. And I think about this other post I see a lot that's like, what is it? I taught them I taught them how to love. I taught them something, but they taught me self-love or something like that. Basically saying, like, you know, I did them a favor, but they kind of did me a favor too. But in the sense that where I built them up, they closed me off. And I think about that a lot because I keep dealing with scenarios with people where I'm trying to be more open and more vulnerable with people. And there's definitely been no more a vulnerable place than I was these last couple weeks. Not weeks, these last couple months. Just like trying to reach out. It's like, I need help. I can't do everything by myself. And the simple fact of the matter was the fact that I couldn't do it on my own, but I always seek the wrong people to assist in the struggles that I got going on. It's like I would barely get my head above water, and then I try to help other people that's drowning, and now I'm drowning and they got their feet above the water now. It's not even their head above water. They're on higher grounds than me because I let them drag me back down. And I was having a conversation with my dad. Because he was like, I feel like you do this as kind of like a self-sabotage. Because he was listening to a podcast or something like that. And I don't remember the guy's name, but he was mentioning how he kind of did it by temperature. like, say you have your AC set at 70 degrees, then the inside of your house, apartment, whatever, is going to be at the 70 degrees. It's not going to get any higher. It's not going to get any lower. It's going to stay at 70 degrees no matter what's going on outside. And he was saying that we're like degree people. If we're only supposed to get to 70 degrees, once we start getting a little above that, we get uncomfortable. So we try to do what we can to bring ourselves down to that comfort level. And he was like, you know, for you, it seems like you get into a good place, and then you go help people and you let them drag you down because you don't know when to just cut them off before it gets too bad. And my biggest thing about that is, yeah, it's true. But me personally, I hate when people go through things by themselves, because there's been plenty of times in my life where it's like all I needed was for somebody to hear me screaming in the void. And a lot of times I didn't have that. It was whether or not I actually had it, or I just didn't feel like there was anybody I could go to. You know, that's kind of the difference of the situation, but it still felt like I was on my own, and I hated that feeling because it's not that I can't be by myself. It's like I like being alone a lot of times. It's just that moment when you feel lonely. Like I get to a place where I'm comfortable being by myself, and then it's like, well, okay, now I can kind of venture out and, you know, build connections again. You know, I go through a period or I close myself off. Like right now is kind of like in between that period of I'm gonna close myself off, but also I'm gonna be open to connection. But, you know, I go through a period, I close myself off, I develop myself, I'm getting myself back to where I need to go. The moment I build a connection, it's with the wrong person. Because a lot of times it's somebody that's in the position that I used to be in, but they're not trying to get themselves out. And the biggest reality check that I've had to have this past couple years was the fact that nobody is going to help themselves, or you got somebody else that's doing the work for them. Like, as much as I want to help people, it gets to a point where they're like, well, if they was going to do everything anyway, I don't need to really improve. I could just keep making the same mistakes. He'll find a way to fix the problem. That's just how it goes. And I'll sit there and go, yeah, you know, I'll try to help you out, but maybe you can do a little bit better, or maybe you could do this. Or then I feel like it's always a test of that limit. Like, you know, I make the suggestion, maybe you could do this. That way you don't have to have me do this for you. Let me not do this and see what Dale's going to do. They don't do it. Okay, we want to try again later, but make sure that you do this, or at least attempt to do this. Well, I attempted to do it and it didn't work. Okay, let me keep helping you until we figure out something that does work. And by the time it even gets to a point where it matters, I'm drained. They've gotten everything that they've wanted, or they've then moved on to the next thing. And, you know, I'm not going to say it was all for naught. It taught me a lesson. It's just a lesson that I'm getting tired of learning, but I wouldn't keep learning it if I actually learned it the first time or the first couple times. I always think about, I think it was Kennedy. I always think about the song, the J. Cole song. Can't think of the name of it. It's like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't put the blame on you. And I always think about that because I give people so many chances. And it's like, you don't see changes in behavior, but you're not making changes in your behavior to adjust to that. And let them know you're not going to be there all the time to get them out of whatever mess they're in. I've literally made plans to set myself back just to try and help somebody come up. Plenty of times I'm thinking about starving just to make sure other people eat. And I'm not saying that to try to make anybody feel bad or blame them. At the end of the day, it's my fault. I take responsibility for that. But it's just, I wonder a lot. Like at the end of the day, I know what type of person I'm gonna be. At least for the most part. Like I have a general idea of how I'm gonna be as a person. I just have a constant battle between the me now and the me that I'll be in the future, because it's like, okay, well, if you start doing this, you'll start becoming more like me. And then it's like, but if I start becoming more like you, I'm gonna be maybe colder, or I'm not gonna be as helpful. And I don't want to turn into one of those people that's like, you know, in like animes where you got that one guy that's like, you know, I've been betrayed by everybody in my life, or I just don't feel like I can trust people, so I do everything on my own. I never want to get to that point. And the reality of the situation is I'm not going to be that guy in the future, but it's just, where do I draw that line? And right now I have to draw the line. I can't help anybody because I still have to get myself together. And it's so hard because it's like, I don't know. I just think that the world right now sucks. Like, there's not many good things that's going on in the grand scheme of things. And I just think, especially because I always end up dealing with people who have gone through so much. Somebody right now that I'm trying to, or kind of befriending, but like I see that pain that she's going through. And that's another problem I have. I feel like I see deep into people, because I can see like what it is that makes them who they are, why they react a certain way. There was somebody I knew, all she would do was like try to sabotage everything. Me and her had something going on, and it blew up with everybody. She was cool with everybody, and then everything blew up. She wasn't cool with nobody no more. And like I broke it down to one of our mutual friends, and I was like, the problem is there's something that hurt her as a kid. So the only thing that she can really control is the chaos that's going on. That doesn't mean I need to be in her life, and I'm not, but I can understand it. Same with this person now. There's a situation that happened, and you know, we were other people that witnessed it. We were talking about it, and you know, they were talking about how she reacted versus what caused the situation. I'm like, well, I understand that, because there's been plenty of times where I might have overreacted in the situation because of stress, anger, pain, like anything bad going on in your life, and things just keep piling up. And then you have, especially at a job, the jobs that I work at, they're like some of the least grateful people you could work for. Well, I guess least grateful, not necessarily true. They could be more grateful, but they could be worse, I suppose. But it's like when you're trying to put more of your effort into helping higher ups or doing anything that benefits the company, and they just kind of, trying to find an appropriate word to say, when they, it's pretty much a slap in the face. They won't tell you thank you. They'll tell you you need to do better, but you also can't really do too much because you have a time constraint of how many hours you can work in a week. And it's like, well, you're not doing enough. It's like, I'm trying to do more, but you won't let me, or you won't even give me a motivation to do it. It's like, I understand that. The whole time I was going through everything throughout the week, everything was pissing me off. Like, whether it be management, it be the people I was working around, sometimes people I was working with. And it's just like, I can't keep going through this. Like, I literally almost had a mental breakdown at work. I've already done that once before at another job for a bunch of stuff going on. It's like, I've been in this place too many times. So to see somebody else going through that, it's like, my natural instinct is to say, I want to help. But I can't keep jumping on other people's problems and trying to fix them. And I don't know if it's because I'm real close with my mom, but I have sympathy, a lot more sympathy for a woman. So it's even more like a kind of dedication. Like, I don't feel like you need to be going through this, my queen. And it's just, I don't know. That's something else I've been thinking about too. It's just, I ultimately hate seeing people go through things, but it's a lot easier to kind of tell when a woman is going through things, because a lot of the men that I'm around, we hide our pain and anger through other means as just expected of a man. Women, it's like they'll cry, they'll scream, they'll shout. They're a little more open about it. So it's easier to see like the pain that's inside because of the fact that it's like you're not really hiding it. And I feel like it's funny because, something about this person, like, she caught my eye the moment I saw her. I feel like it's like God was dangling like a little fruit. It's like, yeah, let me test him again. He's dealing with situations now. He's just not getting out of the situation. Let me see how he's gonna deal with this. And I will say I think I'm doing a lot better, because after hearing about that situation, it made me understand, oh, you're another, I'm not gonna say broken, but another hurt person that I'm naturally gravitated towards because you need healing. I was like, okay, I'm gonna back up. I can't do that right now. I can't deal with that. I'm back up. Almost got me, but I'm back up. It's easier because it's like she's in that closed off kind of space. Like, I'm dealing with all these things, but I'm not really talking to anybody. Let me just eternalize it. And it's easier to kind of take a step back. It's like, I'm only gonna approach you at the rate that you feel approachable. I'm gonna deal with the stuff I got going on. I do still want to help you. Let me back up. I can't house any more emotions and pain and damage because I'm still healing now. Like, today is probably the first day that I feel like the most at ease I felt in a while. And it's one, because I'm off. I worked out, watching some One Piece. I'm trying to chill today. But that's the thing that I struggle with the most. It's trying to help people when I'm not really in the best positions that I could be right now. And I don't know. I just think that all of these things that I've been going through has just been one big test. I can't say, well, I think I'm starting to pass them. Because I was telling my dad, it was like, there's behaviors and things that I'm starting to notice and call out about myself. And the fact that I can even take time to sit and think, like, look back and think about how I react and why I react the way I react, and handle situations differently and ask the right questions. Like, that's a sign that I'm finally starting to get it. But then it's also like, where do we go from here? Going back to the 70 degrees thing, it's like, and I can pinpoint different times that I did this, because it'd be like right after dealing with some emotional damage, I built myself up, deal with somebody else that gives me worse damage. And right now I'm trying to build back up to that level, but I also wanted to surpass it. The only thing that's holding me back now is the fact that it's like, man, that's everything I need to do to start becoming the person that I know I'm going to be. There's going to be a lot of hard decisions. It's not really a hard decision, really. It's really just getting up to do what I need to do. And what I need to do is make those decisions. I'm going to cut this part because I think it's going to cut off at 30 minutes anyway, and I'll continue in a second.